Can you solve this Rubik's Cube? This sticker is pink, but there is no pink side. And if I try to turn it like this, it seems like a normal Rubik's Cube. So how do you solve it without virtually peeling off the stickers? Well, how about we peel back the layers? Every 2D side you saw before is actually a 3D cube of 3D stickers that you can 3D turn. Which is cool to know, but where is the pink side? Well, if we just look at the normal Rubik's Cube from the front 2D side, and even turn or rotate it like a steering wheel around the same axis, we can only see 5 different colors. But if we start performing turns outside of this 2D front side, we'll start seeing some blue pop out in different directions. And if we just rotate the whole cube around these 2 new axes, we can now see the entire blue side. And since each 2D side is now a 3D cube, if we turn this side in a way that's impossible to do on a normal Rubik's Cube, we'll start to see some pink come out of seemingly nowhere. And if we just rotate the whole cube instead, we'll reveal the pink side, which I'll just put in the middle like this. We've also revealed another unsolved sticker that we have to fix. So how are we supposed to solve this? Let's try to go back to 3D again. And I'll just 4D rotate this whole cube back to where we had it before. So let's take this piece for instance. This has green, orange, and white on it. And on a normal Rubik's Cube, you'll see that the stickers are quite literally connected to the same piece. And in order for it to be solved, it needs to go between the white, green, and orange sides at the end. And all of these highlighted stickers are part of the same piece as well. But it's hard to see that unless you separate them like this. But while it's between the correct sides, it's twisted the wrong way round. But this is a problem because if you know how to solve the normal Rubik's Cube, having one twisted corner alone like this is impossible to solve. In fact, the closest possible case we have that's solvable is having these 2 corners like this. So perhaps learning how to solve this might give us a clue. Well, remember those moves I did at the beginning of the video? We can write it like this, these meaning to turn the right then upper face clockwise, and then these telling you to turn them the other way. If I do it twice, something interesting happens. Everything on this bottom layer is exactly where it was before, except this corner, which has now gone from this to this. Meaning that if I just turn this bottom layer again, this is going to go anti-clockwise because I'm undoing the moves. And obviously while undoing the moves, everything else on the cube is going to solve itself again. Meaning that we will solve this case. This format, which you can represent using A, B, A prime, B prime, is called a commutator. But how is that supposed to help us solve this problem? Well, if you look carefully, it's not really a twist that we're solving, but rather a strange flip of 2 pairs of 2 stickers, called a monoflip. And this looks a lot like this case on the normal Rubik's Cube. And one way to solve this is by just solving one of the edges by moving 3 of them around like this. So this is solved. And then just moving the other 3 around. So maybe we can do something similar on the 4D Rubik's Cube using what we just learned. So let's try to apply the same 8 moves onto the 4D Rubik's Cube and see what happens. And we've solved this yellow sticker, and these stickers have moved around clockwise as well. So how do we get these 3 stickers to go into these positions here, so that when we undo those moves, the whole 4D cube will solve itself? And the secret isn't actually what I'm doing right now. This isn't just a flex. This is another cubic rotation, because if I have the axes going through the corners like this, which you can see with my fingers, if I do this, we get back to a cubic shape, but the colors on the sides are different. And if you look at this inside piece of this cube, which we can pretend is a 4th color of this corner, when I twist it like this, the inside part stays put while all of these other stickers go clockwise or anti-clockwise. Which means that instead of turning the bottom layer like how we did before, we can just corner twist this entire cube, which leaves us with an anti-clockwise swap of these 3 stickers in the correct locations, which we know will solve itself when we undo the commutator. But there's a problem. Why are these stickers now out of place? I think that after doing these 8 moves initially, one thing that we forgot to look at is how we've messed up the bottom layer. I mean, it's now a cube. So how are we supposed to twist just this corner around without messing up anything else on the bottom cube? Well, one thing worth noticing is that when we turn a normal 3D Rubik's Cube, we're not just turning all of the colors on top, but all of the colors on the sides as well, as you can see. And same thing of turning the 3D cubes on this 4D Rubik's Cube, because if we turn this cube in the middle, we're turning all of these 2D sides. So what if there was a way just to change all of these stickers that are moving around right now and keep everything else in the same spot? Meaning that we won't mess up these two stickers like last time. Well, there might be a solution, but we need to learn one last kind of cube rotation. Because if you put an axis through the edges, these two edges like this, we can actually rotate the cube around like this, so we go back to the cube shape like we had before, but the colors are swapped around. Now this seems kind of dumb and useless, and we can do these 4 moves by also doing the same first 2 moves, doing this weird edge rotation like this, and then doing these moves instead, and then doing the weird edge rotation. So we get the exact same results. Now that looked really dumb on a normal Rubik's Cube, but if we do the same thing on the 4D Rubik's Cube, but instead of rotating the whole cube, we just turn the cube in the middle, just the middle, and do all of the other moves like this. You'll notice that the 4D part cancels out, but the 3D cube part in the middle still acts as normal. So, because the only things that have been changed are all of these pieces here. Meaning that if we do the same thing once again, we're going to twist the corner just like before, but everything else on this bottom cube is in the exact same place as it was before. Meaning that if we do our fancy corner twist rotation once again, and then undo all of the moves we just did before, we're going to solve the whole 4D Rubik's Cube.